Welcome. You all know me for the corporate events that I'm involved in, hosting conferences and meetings and so on. Well, this year's been a tough year for everybody. And we're now always used to working and living virtually and have to reinvent ourselves. A lot of the fun has gone. Mental well-being is high on the agenda of a lot of companies these days. And they're looking at new ways to keep staff and families happy, particularly as we approach Christmas. And who knows what's going to be happening at Christmas, but probably not as fun as it used to be. And particularly the company fun days have kind of slipped off the calendar and people are looking for ways to sort of keep their staff and their families happy. Well, I'm here with my old mate, Peter Duncan. And Peter, as you know, has a huge history in pantomimes. And we've talked about this from a corporate point of view. And Pete, you've done something completely new this year as a bit of reinventing yourself as far as pantomime is concerned. Tell us a bit about what you've done.
Well, it's kind of a family tradition, pantomime. Mum and Dad used to do pantomimes, and I suppose, although I started off as an actor and went into things like Blue Peter and worked with the Scouts a lot, I kind of hadn't done panto, and then eventually I started to do panto, and then, like my parents, I wanted to produce it. So for many seasons, I produced it in the theatre. And of course, when the times we've entered now came along, I didn't have a venue to put a show on, and in the summer, before the summer we filmed it, but before the summer I kind of had the idea that could I make an online pantomime? Could I find the people to do it? Could I bring it all together? Could I get the music right? In other words, it's a hugely creative project that started like a small acorn but grew into quite what was a substantial sort of, dare I say, movie that we shot in my and my neighbour's back garden. And we filmed it in August, and we're in the middle of post-production now, and of course it'll be ready for Christmas.
And it's not, as they call, green screen, where it's all fake. This is actually real actors in a real environment with the real costumes and so on, doing a faithful pantomime.
Yes, we decided that we didn't actually want to do like a lot of pantomimes sometimes filmed in theatres. So we're obviously not in a theatre, but because it's a big garden, it's a very green garden, there's lots of little buildings, and my neighbour's got an old Victorian folly, which is we're doing Jack the Beanstalk, it's the giant slayer. So there was enough places to make it look like it was lots of different, how we say, locations. So it's not like really filming in your back garden, it's filming on a location, if you like. We wanted to have it not have full of special effects, really, that you tend to do in movies, because we wanted it to be kind of representative of what you would see in the theatre. So that's what we did, really, and we're now sort of mixing it together, the different scenes, and we're doing what we call rough cuts, and then we make the rough cuts a bit sort of tighter, and then we added the music and then the sound effects. So as you would in a stage show, but what you get in the end is that you get a continuous 70-minute story that is like being in a theatre, but actually it's a movie.
And the important point is, it'll still be interactive for the kids, because there will be the gaps to go behind you, or, oh yes it is, oh no it isn't.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the important bit.
Well, yeah, it is, and we're not going to put loads of sound effects on as if taking the place of the audience.
Yeah.
The joy of panto, why people go to panto, when people talk about panto, is that they love the idea that it's a mix of, you're watching something, you're involved in the story, the narrative, and then it's tradition in our culture, that when you join in, so when somebody says, oh no you didn't, you're almost
oh yes I did,
it's almost genetic that you come up with the response. And that's the same with the boos and the ahs, and it's the behind yous. So you are required to join in, and it's not like you're forced to do it, but you just, like in a stage production, it starts gently. And
you can't help it.
And then you can't shut people up.
Yeah, exactly. Really. So look, the good thing about this is actually, on a serious note, we talked about mental well-being. We are trying to, bring back a bit of fun and a bit of entertainment into life, and particularly for the corporate companies that I do a lot of work with. I know they've been looking for ways, and this is a great way, isn't it, that they can actually buy into this on Panto Online. If you want more information, then just send me a message on LinkedIn or through my social media, and I can tell you about what's available. But it's really important to bring some smiles back on their faces, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, I've always been, my Blue Peter days, and I've always been a positive kind of person, and obviously I'm not doing this for pure profits. I know that sounds...
No, there are charities involved.
No, there's six charities that I've been attached with for quite a while, so any profit, if it does make a profit, some of the money will go towards the charities, so there's a motivation to do that. And a lot of the people who are working on it, are doing it, as you probably know, my profession is somewhat decimated because all theatres have closed, the cinemas are potentially closed. So it's very hard, particularly for freelancers, to find work. So the good feeling about it is that one's employed quite a few freelancers, good performers to be in it, and also the technical side as well. So, that side of it feels good too, that we've been working, we're working now. And that's a good feeling. And then people are genuinely responding well now. Certainly schools and scouts and guides are saying, oh, this is something we want, because it's difficult if you're a scout troop. You still have to be socially distanced. You can't always meet in your hall. You have to sometimes you have to go to people's homes. It's a big problem. And schools as well, we're obviously, schools are taking it, but they're having to watch in bubbles. So streaming is a wonderful, flexible thing to do.
Great cast, great music, story that everybody knows, lots of fun. What's not to like about it? Did you enjoy doing it?
I was, in the words of a great educational called Sir Ken Robinson, which some of you may have heard of, I was in my element. Yes, I was in the space where I was really enjoying it. Not because I get dressed up as Dame Trotton every day and put on a dress and a wig and a bit of lipstick. No, nothing to do with that at all.
He does. Look, okay, so get hold of me. I can give you all the details on it if you want to take advantage of it for your friends and families in the companies and so on, because it's a great way of having a bit of fun this Christmas. And Peter, thank you. It runs from December 7th to January the 10th, the Panto season, when you can actually access it. We'll send you a link and all that. We'll worry about the technical side later. But Pete, thanks for doing this, and lovely kitchen, by the way.
It is nice, isn't it? Yes, and the sun is blasting into the wall. It won't last, of course.
Oh, yes, it will.
Oh, no, it won't.
Oh, yes, it will. Thank you very much.